Shalom, all praises go to the Most High, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua Ba'ashem Adawakadash the Balanas, and to the elder pauses a great millstone for the teachings of the scriptures, among other things. Shalom to the sincere Alchemy across the world. Now, this is a video that I just came across, this video right here, and I thought to myself, like, let me make a video about it because it shows you that these Edomites had been trained by their men, the men of their nation, had been trained to be a certain way, and until this day you still have that training, but only in the older generation, because the newer generation they're losing it. That's why you got videos like this. Girls are selling themselves, and the funny thing is that if you type in women are selling themselves, as I typed in here, you won't find the video. You're not gonna find this video, because that's what I typed in first, and then I thought, huh, what? Why am I not finding this video? For money. And some of them don't do it just for the money's sake. They do it because they, they're moist. They got spirits on them. But yeah, so the girls are selling themselves. This is a very good video to show you that of her, to show you that their empire is falling. Esau's empire is falling. Wait a minute. Right. Sorry about that. Now this is the video.
Something is happening to the girls. Something strange. Let's play a little spot the difference. Are you seeing what I'm seeing?
This is where they were. They was being trained here. They was being trained. Let that sink in. They was being trained by the television, because television, it's not only an influencer, it actually teaches you stuff, or it at least puts stuff in your mind that you have never thought of yourself. And then when you see it, you might get inspired, and then you start your own thing or whatever like that. You know what I'm saying? You might start your own, I don't know, the same genre, but then put your own twist toward it. Like how Esau took rock and roll and start, openly hail Satan, stuff like that. He was inspired by the rock and roll and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So that's just music. Other things too. Clothing. Back in the days, you saw the baggy clothing in the rap videos, so you wanted it too. You got influenced. That's why they used to blur out so-called black artists, especially here. They used to blur them out because they knew that those brands would sell more than the other regular brands. So therefore, it was a form of jealousy, and to protect their free spot. To protect, to look like the company would protect itself from making the other company bigger. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the video guy, the person that's filming, later on they would blur out the thing. It has also something to do with getting sued, something with sued and whatever. But I understand that part. I think I glanced over it. But the point is, that's free sponsorship. And they don't want that, They will make sure that the other guy doesn't get money traffic and stuff. People that love that artist would start bombarding those stores. I want to get that. That's free sponsorship right there. Anyway, so they used to blur that out. Because people are naturally copycats by design. You start off from a baby being a copycat. So being a copycat is not necessarily evil, but it's not evil at all. But if you have these type of females and your daughter sees it, oh shit, then that's going to be, that's evil. It's not seen as, but don't worry, let me go on.
These are all girls, all females. Nothing has changed in our biology as far as I'm aware, and yet
they were being taught how to dance with men, and this is how they now. Of course, they saw black women and stuff like that, but anyway, because they are influenced by something that they like it, and therefore they're gonna copy it. Because I can talk to a person so many scriptures and stuff like that. It doesn't matter if they are not gonna get it; they're not gonna get it. So I know what they mean. I know it is the Lord, and not just talking all that type of stuff. I already figured that out a long time ago, boy. That's why I don't talk to certain people, because I'm looking at them like, I don't think he's gonna get it. Because you look at them, be like, nah. And then you might say something, and they're not interested at all, and then you just leave it at that.
females as a whole are mutating. Not that long ago, this was the average woman. When she presented herself to the outside world,
they were trained like this. Remember, they're beasts. You have to understand. Boy, if I can't show you, of course, but if I show you the medieval times when they freshly came out the caves, boy, you already know what they look like. But loose from that, it was the Moors that was cleaning them up in the Moorish baths and stuff like that in Spain, Europe, other parts of Europe and stuff like that. You know, they were cleaning them up. Then you had the so-called black woman teaching them how to act in front of other people. That's why in those days when paintings were around, you had, well, not selfies of course, but you had women taking, they stood pose naked. Boy, there's so many naked pictures of paintings, actually I should say, of women, Edomite females of those days. You'd be, what the fuck is this, some porno? Yes, it is some porno shit, man. That was their form of pornography, because that they are by design a perverted nation, sexual beastly, like I should say, you know, spreaderellas, spread eagles. They love the eagles, right? They women love to spread that eagle, but they were taught. And then, because Esau is a genius, how you see that devil over there, they really think. So they know if you shame them into certain things, they will obey, because it's a woman. They feel different, right? But if you let them loose, oh boy. And I'm gonna get into the scriptures concerning letting these women loose, but let's go up in this.
Sure that she was fully clothed, modestly dressed, flattering makeup. Self-respect was the currency of the time. And
yeah, you was taught self-respect, because off of yourself you don't have that. That's why you had this movie series, Prairie, I don't know how you spell that, Prairie and Little House in the Prairie. Okay, this one. That's why you had these type of clothing. The women had their little thing on from time to time, and here in the Netherlands you had traditional. You had the women also having their head covered and all that type of stuff. And then you have also these women do it still unto this day to a certain degree. They you know, but only the ones that live in the mountains. Because if you go to let me see here, city, of course you're not gonna see that. You're gonna see them walk around like this. You're gonna see them walk around like this, because you know they don't let free. Like the scripture is warning you, like don't let them free. But yeah, you might say like, hey, this is controlling. It's actually better for your society, because I'm gonna show you something that when they were being checked, then the society of Esau was much better. But then Amalek, through the spirit of Yahweh, he hated it. Amalek came in and slowly but surely started to make his way up into the government itself, and now they rule everything. And now boy, you know, German, they also had it too. The women had their head covered. Well, not these ones, these likes, but they had others. Let me see. That one. Women head cover. I think I just saw it actually. Yeah, not that one. This one. This one actually, but I saw another one here. This one too. You know, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and of course this one. This is kind of the same. And this one, of course. This looked more like Dutch, because the Dutch actually spoke this language, the so-called German language. They spoke the same thing. But just like how you have in America right now, you have the ones from the south that speak a certain way, and the ones from the north that speak a certain way. And even in the north, you can hear the accent between a New York person and a New Jersey person, even though they're right beside each other. So how much more Once they're further apart from one another, the accent is going to change. Even the meanings of words. Okay, but enough of this.
This was considered overtly.
By the way, this video is about the beast-likeness of these Edomite females that was changed through the cunning serpent. He can form them, and it's like a pimp. If you keep a bitch broke, then you can mold her in a certain way. I'm not saying you should, but I'm telling you what it is. Okay, you can mold her in a certain way, and she will stick and remain. And you know, you keep her in a certain era. But if you start letting her loose, then but first and foremost, she won't need you no more, because now she can make that money on her own. But she will just spiral. Well, not necessarily out of control, but she's not gonna have brakes on her and stuff like that. That's exactly what Esau does with the nation of Jacob as a whole. It's like a pimp. He keeps you broke so that you always will need him. Help me, government assistance, all those type of things, right? Why? Because he knows that if he gives you too much money, you will be able to do things on your own, and he don't want that. He wants you to depend on him. Therefore, he keeps you broke. You know. But yeah.
And yet, she's still fully clothed, rather demure by our current day standards, not a hint of butt cheek or fanny flap in sight. And now, this is what we're expected to think is normal for our girls. Boobs out, bums out, wearing less clothes than some people's dogs.
They just want to, these Moabites just want to be like Edomites, because if you go to their country, they don't really do this shit like that. But they're starting. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, how can I say it? You know what, just leave that. I'll leave that. But I'm not talking about Koreans, because look, if you look at history, you will see that the Koreans, South Koreans, sorry, they're actually trained by America. Let me see. Okay, sorry, I'm looking for it. Oh boy. This one, right? Okay, so you had, where's that one again, boy? This one, that's what I want, but I want the other one before all that alliances. Before all those alliances. This one, I can even see that. Okay, so South Korea was backed up by United States and UN, so Europe, and North Korea was backed up by Soviet Union and China. That's why they are so different from one another. This one had that so-called sexual revolution type of thing, and they got sponsored by Esau. Why? Because the war is actually between America, Europe versus Russia. It has always been. Here again, you have America and Europe versus Russia in the East Berlin and West Berlin wars that was going on, and they was trying to break down that wall. Why? Because East Germany used to be part of Russia. If you look at the map from the 1938s and stuff like that, and a little bit before, of course, not a little bit before, all the way before, until about maybe I don't know actually. I do know, but let me see, around here, 1989, you could say, 1990, something like that. And then they broke down that wall. I remember being around, and I saw it on the television. I saw they were celebrating for that wall being broken down, and I thought to myself, like, huh? Why are they happy? I saw it on TV. I was young, but I saw it on TV. I saw, like, huh? I remember asking myself, why are they happy about a stupid wall? Can't they just jump over it? Yeah, if you do, they shoot you to death. But that's another story. But anyway. So here you see it again, East and West Berlin. Until this day, they still have some form of thing there, but you can still, in other places, you can still walk through. You know, you can find pictures for that. So here you have the same thing. You have British Burma, which is where Japhet is, which is, I think, I hate this name, Myanmar, something like that. Then you have Thailand. Then you have British Malaya. Nowadays they call it, I think, Malaysia. But yeah, you have French Indochina. You back in the days, these were their names. During World War III, two. But what is the point of me showing you this? It has always been either China versus America versus China, because they're backed by China, and these ones are backed by America. And then you have, let me see here. But funny enough, the Cambodians actually have a good relationship with the Americans also, to a certain degree. But still, China is backing them up, and therefore they won't do certain things because, China's gonna look at them like, what the hell are you doing? Then you have here, of course, you had the Republic of China, but slowly but surely, the Communist Party of China, which was backed up by Russia, of course, started to sneak in. Well, not sneaky, but I mean, started to take over, and then they forced them to become Taiwan, right? So, but the war, like I said, the war it's like the northern tribes versus the southern tribes. It's a very long war. Well, Esau has that too. Like, so-called northern tribes of Esau and the southern tribes of Esau. I said so-called. I'm just saying, the groups of Esau are divided against one another. The one portion of the Edomites, they speak a form of Greek, which is nowadays called Russian. If you look at their alphabet, their symbols and stuff like that, if you look at that, then you will see it's very closely to the Russian. No, sorry, to the Greek language. Okay, I won't talk too much about this. Here you have it again. You have here Algeria, which is backed up by what? China. China and Russia. China and Russia is backed up, so they backing up Algeria, and Morocco and all these other, West Sahara and stuff like that. It's all backed up by Europe, and of course Amalek and stuff like that. So they're fighting here. So what I'm showing you is all their wars is actually just two people fighting, but they're using these other nations as, you could say, proxy wars. They're behind the scenes actually, calling the shots and all that type of stuff, but they have other people fighting for them. But the main target, the main sources of all these wars is Russia versus America and Europe. That's their biggest threat. But China now, of course, because China has lost their colonization of the British. They lost it in 1960. 1960, something about that. When did China become independent? Let me see. They're not well, to a certain degree, they're not. To a certain degree. Wasn't it 1960? $49? Was it? Okay, cool. I need to read up on this a little bit more. Anyway, but they say like 49, sorry. Something like that. Fucking cruel guy right here. I'll tell you that. He did. Boy, if you see that that guy was like Stalin. He was just like Stalin. Boy, they had dead bodies all over the place, man. And they took pictures with that shit too. Like how Esau be taking pictures with dead animals that he hunted and stuff like that. And these Chinese people ain't playing. And Stalin wasn't playing either. Anyway, let me go on. Sorry.
by the way, are already wearing fur coats.
Okay, enough of this. Okay, so she's showing you how it used to be compared to how it is now, right? And you have here, many women are selling their souls. That had been a long time ago. Pretty young and homeless. Because their parents can't deal with them because they love to spread them legs. Let's not do this. Yes, let's do this because, you know, your nation is falling, which is a beautiful thing. Blessed is he to see it, the fall of his enemies. So the reason why I'm also making this video is because Romans 13 and 11, and that knowing the time that is now, that now it is high time to wake up out of sleep. For now is our salvation nearer than when we believed. It's closer. Amos 17. Wait, sorry. Amos chapter 7 verse 17. Therefore thus saith Yahweh, thy wife shall be a harlot in the city. So these are the curses that came upon the Jacob descendants. Hosea 4 and yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't need to read the rest actually. It's good too, but you know, I'll focus on this one. Hosea chapter 4 verse 12. My people ask counsel at their stocks. Stock is wood, which is a statue, and their staff declared it unto them, because that is what they lean upon. Yeah, staffs were known to be used by witches, you know, Hollywood and all that type of stuff, those witches, those Drew heads, but they always had sticks that they would do stuff with. But in this case, yeah, you could say that too, but in this case, because the people were doing witchcraft, but it's also talking about their support, because our support is actually Yahweh, and now it's Yahweh Shai, but still Yahweh reigneth over all. For the spirit of whoredoms had caused them to err, or make mistakes, and they have gone a whoring from under their power. They went to another god, which makes you a whore. They sacrifice upon the top of the mountains and burn incense upon the hills, under oaks and poplars and elms, because the shadow thereof is good. That's why they go to the Bohemian groves. The Bohemian groves is where they do their little devil stuff. Look, you did have Abraham. He did build a grove, but it was not like that. Because if you go to Genesis chapter 21 and 33, if I'm correct. Did I color it? No, I did not. Okay, so it says here, and Abraham planted a grove in Beersheba, and called thereon the name of Yahweh, the everlasting power. So he did build a grove, but if you look up that word, it's called a tamarisk tree, right? Which is a tree that actually gives shadow in a weary land. It's like a comfort zone, something like that. But he didn't worship it. He just made an altar there because that was the customs of those times. But later on, and mind you, this word here is, let me see, ashal, right? And then you have the other groves. If you look with an S, if you look that one up, then it's going to talk about Ashtaroth, which is Ashtaroth also, but this is more the Canaanite version of Ashtaroth, and Ashtaroth is the queen of heaven. Well, I don't know how you spell that. Whatever. Okay, this one. Then you will see a bird bitch, and this is the Easter bunny chick also. There's a lot of forms of them. There's so many forms of them, boy. You know, she was also known as a female version of Baal, because some females, they don't want to worship a man, and some men, they don't want to worship a man. They want to worship a female. It's I don't know, man. People do stuff. But she was actually a very powerful female, because she was a very powerful witch. Let me see here. She was known to step on lions, in her pictures and stuff like that. She was known here. Oh shit! Fuck this picture, man. God damn it. Right. She was known to be depicted standing on a lion. There's other, not videos, but there's other type of stone pictures like this. But I'm gonna leave it at that before I start seeing bullshit. Because you know she's also a fertility idol thingy goddess, whatever they call that thing, and then therefore you might see nudity. So I don't want to do that. I'll just leave that. But yeah, you had that one. And then you have Asherah, which if you look her up, it's gonna fall to the same thing. But this one is the one of the groves with totem poles and stuff like that. Because, well, nowadays you might hear, when you hear the word totem poles, here, you see it says here, sacred tree or poles set up near an altar. Which is this. Here, this is this. You have their poles. These are poles set up near their so-called worshiping places where they worship, or where they burn incense, like these things. This is a smaller version of it. This is a bigger version of it. Oh, what the hell? This is smaller, a replica. It's not just a replica. It's where they burn incense. And then you have here the poles near the place of their worship, right? You have the Chinese people have all over. They have all over their country. Do they have poles? And Japan has their shrines also, which kind of look the same. These are Chinese, but the Japanese have the same thing too. As you can see here, they was doing push-ups and stuff like that. They have so many sacred poles. They call it sacred. And then you have sacred forests of Japan. Because a lot of people, if you say totem poles, you will get the Native American poles. But they did the same thing too, by the way. And the Africans did it too. Until this day, they still do it too. But yeah. So you have their groves. This is a grove within their forests. These Japanese people. You know, they have these places. They call it so-called sacred and stuff like that. And then they have their groves and their totem poles. Well, I don't need to call it totem poles, but yeah, that's a word for it. But I know that you're going to get, most likely, you're going to get the totem poles of the Native Americans in your head. But this is talking about Asherah. That's what it is. They have these poles all over Japan. This one clearly has not been updated for a long time. This one is fresh, you know, repainted over and over again. All that there. You got the older ones that grow moss on them and stuff like that. And yeah, that's what they do. Here's another one. There's so many, you know, you could just find them on the internet. You know, there's another one here. You know, this is how I travel. Find out stuff. Anyway, so Lord willing, of course. So that's that. That's a stock. You know, that's what the Israelites were worshiping. But Abraham did it too, but he didn't do it like how they did it, because later on the Most High said, "Thou shalt not build a grove." I don't want you to do that. Okay, so this one, and then you have okay, Hosea chapter 4 verse 11. My people ask counsel at their stock. Oh yeah, I already read that. Okay, because the shadow thereof is good, just like that tree that I just showed you. And you have Esau doing the Bohemian groves. That's the devil worship thing that they do. And then they have their statues and their poles over there and stuff like that. Anyway, so therefore, because we did that, these things, therefore your daughter shall commit whoredom, which is going to hurt you, because you don't want your daughter to be a whore, but you want to be a whore by going to other gods. So that, and you offend the Heavenly Father. So now the Most High is going to offend you by making your daughter into a whore, and it's going to anger you. It's going to, boy, you're going to be furious. And your spouses shall commit adultery. You're going to be angry unto murder. I will not punish your daughters when they commit a whoredom. And know your spouses when they commit adultery, for themselves are separated with whores, and they sacrifice with harlots. Therefore, the people that doth not understand shall fall. If you don't get it, you're gonna fall, especially for these things, and you're not gonna know why you fell, because you're stupid like that. Right? 1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 14. I will therefore, this is the wise words of Apostle Paul, or was it Timothy? One of those two. He said, I will therefore that the younger women marry, bear children, guide the house, give none occasion to the adversary to speak reproachfully. The word adversary is Satan. But in this case, the word Satan means adversary. It means somebody that, so, for example, Esau is an adversary to life. That's why he pollutes the air that you breathe with chemtrails. He pollutes the water that you drink with chemicals, like fluoride, and all these other things. And he pollutes the food that you eat with GMO. He's literally anti-life. He pollutes the 3 essential things needed to sustain life itself, which is air, food, water. And he pollutes your mind too by giving you all these type of nonsense, but that's another story. But he influences you with the television and stuff like that. For some, and this is talking about 2,000 years ago, some of the younger women already turned aside after Satan. Now, this is the spiritual demon Satan himself. But the word adversary is the same word as this one. Not in the Hebrew. I mean the definition of it. But look, I never looked it up in the Hebrew actually. Maybe I did, but I forgot. But I'm not talking about that one right now. I'm talking about the word Shatan, Satan. It literally means adversary. And then therefore this is the same thing. But this is talking about people. For example, women have a lot of enemies. I don't know. They just have, right? Like people that they don't like or stuff like that. They just have it. And then what do certain women do? For example, if you were a woman, right? And then let's say something happened in the house, you get into a little scuffle or whatever, And then she goes and tells somebody, like her family members. It might be friends or something, but in this case, I'll just use family members. And then in the meanwhile that has been said and stuff like that, and a while afterward, then they will get back together again and everything is good. But the people that she told will either, some people might never accept you again or something like that. You know how these things go. Or she goes out there and she talks the business that's happening in the house. Like, yeah, he doesn't fix the door that has a cranky sound. This, that. Then she complains and bitching and stuff. And now her adversaries that I really don't like her, but it's crazy. They're still friends with each other. Like, they talk to each other, but they gossip about each other like real bad. And then she has now meat with the potatoes and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? With extra ketchup, So, and pepper. And then she goes out there and talks about it because it's a joy for them to see you suffering or falling or whatever, like, just being in a miserable state of life. And if you just kept your mouth shut, then your family would not be angry at the boyfriend that you now reconciled with and made good with and stuff like that. But they will never, or not never, but they will always be, always bitching and complaining. You need to leave. You need to leave him. Stuff like that. And then that's because she didn't shut the fuck up. And that's what this is talking about. Give none occasion. So it says right here, 1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 14. I will therefore that the younger women marry, bear children, guide the house, give none occasion to the adversary to speak reproachfully. Don't give them a chance to know and have dirt on you and your household. They will use it against you. You need to be wise enough to shut the fuck up. I say it cruel, but don't talk too much. Keep your mouth within the household. It will spare you a lot of trouble with your own family. Even like I said, you get into a scuffle with your man or something like that, and then or your son. They also love to talk about their children with other people. Oh, my son flunked today, and then then the other girl will be, going to tell other friends of theirs, her son is stupid. He failed 3 times. If you just shut the fuck up, they wouldn't know, so that they can talk about you. They can't talk about you because they don't know. If people are not around you, look, your woman is your deadliest and could be your deadliest enemy. That's why when she betrayed you, instead of just a random person that is already an enemy, you feel more hatred toward her because she was close, and therefore she knows more things because she's around you. And even if she's lying, she's been around you, so people will believe her faster. But if this person is already an enemy, they're not going to necessarily 100% believe you like that, because they already know, like, nah, you already got something against them. So now you just, I think you're making it up, or you're exaggerating, stuff like that. It's not, even if it's true, people are quick to less believe you, like quick to doubt you, doubt you, like, no, I don't know. It might be not. But if it's a girl that you've been with for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years, and then she turn on you, right? They'll easily believe that one, which would infuriate you. But anyway, even if she's lying, for some are already turned aside after Satan. Now, this is 2,000 years ago. How much more now have the women turned aside after Satan? Satan is their role model. It's like the one that makes them live in pleasure because they're free. They can do a lot of things. You wouldn't be able to see these type of women doing these type of things in a strict Muslim land. They can't. And therefore they feel constrained. And then they want to break free. Deuteronomy 30:7, and Yahweh thy power will put all these curses upon thy enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. So all these curses are coming upon our enemies, but it's slow. Like, when I was growing up, right, I didn't see either my chicks like doing, I always had in my head, they're not good mothers. You see how their children are toward them. It's weird. They want to be friends. Yeah, boy, Jake women, especially those days, but it's used to scream at you. It actually looks hateful. When I look at it, I'll be like, hey, you are fucking hateful. But it's just different, man. But they're monsters themselves too. The so-called Jake women, I mean the Jake women, they're monsters too. How they treat their children and stuff like that, If they was to add a little bit of the so-called softness, then it would be a little bit better. But then again, hey, not all the time. Shouldn't be soft all the time. But you see the venom in their fucking voice when the child is behind them. Be like, goddamn bitch, you fucking, that's goddamn evil what you just did right there. Just call them. You don't have to show your fucking, that hatred that you have in your voice. You can hear it. You can see them too. If they was to be able to get red, they would be red all the time screaming at the child. But yeah, that's another story. Let me leave that. But still, let me go on. So this woman talks about she's a classy commenter. It's just a gossiping ass motherfucker. But I do learn a few things because I'm not on social media. So when I want to see a downfall or some dumb shit, so I just click on this. I don't randomly watch this. If I see it in the recommendation thing, I click. And the thing with the so-called algorithm today is if you click on one video, you get bombarded with their shit from time to time. As soon as they upload a new video, it's going to be recommended towards you because you watch. I don't subscribe. I'm not even signed in, boy. I don't do that shit, man. And the other videos the other channels that I do sign in, the other browsers that I do sign in, I don't really browser with that. I do it from time to time. Click on videos here, click on videos there, but I don't do it all the time. If I'm busy with a video or something like that or uploading, then I'll use those browsers, But this one is then, the browser to just go around, and I don't delete my history because if I want to find something, I need to find something. If I delete it, I'd be like, shit, what was it again? I don't know. I have no idea. So I need to keep the history. Yep. I'll keep that history. But anyway, now comes the topic of the video actually.
Once you actually hear what people are bragging about, it starts revealing something much more disturbing than that.
Things I think people would be jealous of me for having. Have a huge butt and a tiny waist naturally.
Low-key have always had.
They're turning into, they're turning into it slowly but surely. But let me get to the point a little bit better.
Yes, it's abrupt.
And she's not all that, how you call that? She still wants that freedom of Esau, I should say, because she's against being taught rules and having regulations and stuff like that, because she wants to be free. But I'm not gonna let her do what she wants.
But it didn't just spawn out of nowhere. You see, long before we had social media trends, we had...
And this is what's going to show you that these Edomites that had been seen in the 90s and all that, the 80s and 70s and 60s and stuff like that, like respectable so-called classy women and they're beasts that had been trained by Esau. And he knows how to turn them into beasts once more by just influencing them, and then they will turn into it themselves because they have it by nature.
Had an even more assertive, much more direct set of rules. There was a system built around telling women that everything they did naturally was wrong.
And that is actually correct, because Esau knew this already, right? So when you see them all acting all out of line, it's actually Esau doing it too, but he just lets them loose, and he pushes them even. He throws more gasoline on the fire. They're already on fire by nature. He just damped it with water, but now he throws gasoline on them. So now they lit up. So about the control. Wait.
They literally told
everything what they did was actually wrong. It is the truth. They ain't right. They're not right, boy. I'm telling you. So, wait, let me get a few scriptures here. Now it says, wait, oh my goodness. I think it's here. Proverbs chapter 14, verse 1. Every wise woman buildeth her house. She's been taught by a man. Or, I think I had it here. Yeah, I have it here somewhere. Okay. Or by the older woman. Both. But the foolish plucketh it down with her hand. She's breaking down her house. Especially getting the man out of there and then raising these these children alone. I wanted to say actually the boy and the girl, but yeah, raising these children alone, that's breaking. She plucked the house apart with her own two hands, unknowingly. And even if you tell them, they don't care, because they don't get it. They don't see they don't see it in the long run. They're not prudent. Fancy word right there, but prudent means prudent definition, right? Oh, it was a T. Making what? Making with no, that's not what I want. I want the other one. Here. Careful or wise in handling particular matters, exercising good judgment or common sense, but it's talking about prudence for the future. Let me see here. That's the definition that I want. All of this is good, but the other one is just faster to understand, as I should say. Here, having or showing careful thought toward the future, actually. They changed the... Oh, sorry, I'm looking for something. They changed the mannerisms that Google works, but I don't want the overview because they're going to force me to use that overview thing. It's kind of irritating. I should have just left it, actually. Let me see, prudence. Careful good judgment that allows someone to avoid danger or risks. And also, careful thoughts of the future. So when you do something today or now, you're thinking about the after effect in the future. That is prudence. You're thinking forward. You're not just doing something and then later on you start thinking like, hey man, I don't think that was a good idea. No, you do the opposite. You think before you do something. That's prudent. Prudence. Ever prudent. Yeah, good judgment in making decisions for the future. Also spending money, but yeah, for the future. That's the point. I think I can... Wait, let me grab the last one, sorry. Oh man. This is what I want. Acting with of showing care and thought for the future. That's what I want. This one. That's what I want. This, it just explains it, well, not in my case better, but the other ones were good too. But this one is the one that I want. And this one is the one that they took away. So now I have to do like backflips and stuff like that. As you can see, you don't see the overview because it's going to bombard you and it's going to tell you what they want. I don't want that. Sometimes it's good, but not for if I want to do a study and stuff like that. I don't want to be told what. No, I don't want that, you know. Anyway, because it goes into this. Wait, it goes into this. I already made a lot of videos about this, so I'm gonna just glance over this right here.
And one of my questions leading to is help us understand where's the future of search going.
Well, when you use Google, do you get more than one answer?
Yes.
Of course you do.
Yeah, of course.
Well, that's a bug.
Yeah.
That's a bug because they want to tell you what the answer is. For example, here you have 935,000. Sometimes you got 16 million or something like that in 0.26 seconds, right? And well, that's a bug according to them. Why?
We have more bugs per second in the world. Because we should be able to give you the right answer just once.
I don't want that. Because I've showed you other videos already about other things that, wait, I'm gonna show you. Look, this is just for an example's sake, but if it's up to them, they would, if you look up for something, they would give you this price, you know, because they want to make a lot of money. Like honey trap, the honey thing, the honey browser thing that they say they're trying to get you the cheapest deal, but actually they was giving you fucked up deals so that they can make a commission on that money that you thought that you are saving upon. That savings that you're doing is going to them, and you're not saving because you know, there's cheaper things on the side of that. There's a whole video about the honey trap lie that these people did. But yeah, for example, here you have, by the way, it used to cost like what, €200 or 192. But of course, they don't want you to have your own powerful computer. They want you to rent it because you shouldn't own anything. You should rent it. And therefore, everything that you create is theirs. So if you're not online, all your work is there. If they choose to terminate your account, everything you had is gone. It's theirs. It's on their computer, so you have nothing. Yeah, and you pay monthly or yearly. It's not yours, but anyway, here it costs the same thing. This is the same exact thing. You can check the specifications and stuff like that. Everything is the same. But this is a different company. This is a different company. This is business. Like a business company. If you translate that word, you will see is business. And these business stores, they want to sell you this same thing for 1,100 actually, and here it's like 900. But it used to be cheaper, by the way. You know, but yeah, they do what they want. They do what they want. But my point is, if they was to give you the answer right away, they would click you. They would make you click on this. And I don't want that. I want different answers so that I can look up things for myself. I don't want to just trust you. You're a devil. In what point in time in history have they not lied to you?
We should know what you meant. You should look for information. We should give it exactly right, and we should give it to you in your language. And we should never be wrong.
We should never be wrong, right? That's why I don't want to use the overview or the software all the time. If I know that I'm looking for something, and the thing is, when you use Google, Google used to be that software thing. It used to find what you're looking for. Yeah. But now I click stuff in the Google, it doesn't find it. And then I click on the Google so-called AI thingy, and then it does find it. Huh? You're the same search engine. Back in the days, they used to find it. But not anymore, because they make it seem as if the AI thing, the software thing, is smarter than the Google. It's not. Like, boy, it's the same thing. It's only more advanced, actually, I should say. Anyway, more specific, and you can kind of ask questions like, so when was this thing released, and what did it cost back in those days? Or you can give a specific date, and it will tell you. Anyway. Exodus 35 and Proverbs 22 and 6. Train up a child in the way he should go, or she, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. So the mannerisms that I will show you of how these women were raised, it actually stuck with them for a few generations. Remember, these women love to take off their clothes and stuff like that. These Edomite chicks. You know, if you look at the you can call it the Renaissance era of painting, but before that, you always had them naked in pictures, so they love it by nature. Exodus chapter 35 verse 25. And all the women that were wise-hearted did spin with their hands, because they was very intelligent. You have, look, they could do things, right? You have smart, wise, and intelligent. Now, smart is a person that's book smart. They can read something and just get it. Intelligent, they don't need to read it. They could just look at you and make it, and sometimes often make it better than you, because they can figure out stuff by themselves. And then the wise one is the one that has experience, or you could kind of say both of them, smart and intelligent, because wise people, I don't know, they can figure out stuff also off of themselves, but with the experience that they have by just looking at somebody else, they can actually apply it and then become teachers and teach you about it and stuff like that, and very accurately too, like very good, as if he went through it himself. Sometimes they did go through it themselves, and other times they don't need to go through it themselves because they're wise. They can see things and analyze it and just figure stuff out. But anyway, that's what the women of Jacob had back in those days, right? And brought that which they had spun, both of blue and of purple and of scarlet and of fine linen. So they was very good in the things. They had skills, man. You know? Titus 2 and 3. The aged women likewise, that they be in behavior as becometh holiness, not false accusers, not given to much wine, teachers of good things, that they may teach the young women to be sober. And that is exactly what Esau had done. I'm going to show you. He gave them status too, and the women, they love status, so they wanted to be like how pimp does. He has his, what is it, top bitch or bottom bitch? I don't know which one it is. I don't know. I don't pay attention to it. I heard it, but he has like this boss chick that is the one that all the other bitches wants to, that's what they call themselves, all the other females, they want to replace. No, well, not replace. They want to be in her shoes. So they strive to do better. It's like being in the military and really wanting to be there so that you can have a high ranking because you put in work and all that type of stuff. Well, that's how women are competitively with each other. They want certain type of status. And you being a good pimp or a cunning one, in its case Esau is both, then you make it to where getting that achievement is kind of hard. It's for the grabs, because if it's too far, they might give up. You put it still in reach, but still kind of slippery that they can't grab hold of it. It's woo, slipped out your hand. Yeah, because you fucked up. You need to do better. Okay, daddy. Then they do it like that, right? To love their husbands, to love their children, because you need to teach them. Boy, I don't want to talk shit, but there's some women, right? They make their children cry like a fucking hour, young. He'd be like, God damn. But when the father is there, he comes right away. Hey, then he, you know, I'm telling you, man, a lot of these women, man, it's like, oh, wow, how the fuck did you get kids? Because they look a certain way, which wants to make them dudes plow them. They're not good mothers, man. I'm looking at that shit like, you shit. You know, your husband should have trained you. But yeah, she probably would not accept it, man. You know, it's fucking horrible how these women treat their children. But yeah, to be discreet, chaste, meaning stay away from other sexual encounters with other men. Keepers at home. Don't be in the club. Good. Obedient to their own husbands. Yeah? That the word of Yahweh be not blasphemed, because those are his rules, and if you break them, it's still a form of blasphemy. You know what I'm saying? It's like when the parents leave the house and they leave the oldest son or maybe the oldest daughter in charge of the rest of the daughters, or maybe, you know, the rest of the children in the house. And then one of the children doesn't want to, you know, when the older sister or brother says, hey, you need to clean your room and stuff like that. Just an example. He's like, no, you're not my daddy. You're not my, you know, I don't do that. But, you know, stuff like that. And then when the parents come back at the end of the weekend, they ask a report. Okay, who did what, the dishes and all that day, you know, around the house and all that day, the orders that was given. Did you follow the orders? Yes, everybody followed the orders except that little one over there. Then he's going to be in trouble because you did not disobey her, the older sibling, or him. You disobeyed the parents because they are the one that left that older sibling in charge. And therefore, if you don't listen to that older sibling, you don't listen to the father and the mother. But you don't see it like that. A lot of people don't see it like that. Therefore, they didn't want to listen to Moses. Therefore, they don't want to listen to the elder apostles that great millstone and stuff like that concerning the scriptures and all that type of stuff. For example, I'm just giving you an example. Because, yeah, people don't see certain things. And for the other example, just because a person has a status, I'm talking very carefully here. Like, for example, I'm going to name a name. Like, for example, this Alazar guy, and you had other people that had a name. I don't know their name specifically, but they were not men of the Lord, but they had a status rank of so-called high. So if you then therefore didn't listen to them, then people would say, oh, you're rebellious and stuff like that. But if your soul doesn't like that person, don't fucking listen to him. It's not a good idea. It's not all the time good. I'll tell you that too. But sometimes you need to, not all the time, okay? But sometimes you need to be just observing, like, I don't think this guy is a person that I should be actually listening to. You know, hey, through the Spirit, the Heavenly Father will work with you if you are really sincere. Like, look, if it's a man of Yahweh Bashem Yahshai and I believe it, cool cat. If I don't, hey, let every man be persuaded in his own mind. You know, when you start seeing things that people do, you know, certain ways, you be like, I don't know about this guy. I don't like this guy. But yeah, that's a whole nother topic. So sorry about that. Anyway, so let me bring it back to here because I'm talking too much now. No, this one then, therefore, right?
You to your face that everything you did, thought, or felt was wrong until taught right.
That's correct. But that female here that's doing a video, I don't know her name, this girl over here, she's actually against that. But if you look at the mannerisms of how America used to be, it was actually better for them. But I don't want this to come back to them. I want them to be this. I want them to have this. I want them to... This is the scriptures. This is what happens when you let them loose. And they turn into this. Half naked, belly poking out. It's not she's fat, but I mean, like, her things are out. And the first thing that comes to your mind when you see a girl like that, it's like, I'm going to put my dick in her womb because that's what I see. I see your womb. Now I'm fucking. It's simple as that. I see your tits. I want to gargle in them. You know? Play around. Touch them. That's what you get in your head. Because men are visual. Women are beyond visual, you know. Everything they see is something that they either want to have for themselves or want to get. anyways, here again, the stomach showing the belly and all that there. It is showing the do I call it fertility? It's showing that, put something in there. That's what it's showing. Because that's what you want to put your dick in a womb, because that's what you see, right? But the scripture also tells you, like, the book of Sirach 47:19, thou didst bow thy loins unto women. What's your loins? Your genitalia, your dick, right? And here's another one. Loins is the part of the body that is above the legs and below the waist, your sexual organs. So again, it says, the book of Sirach 47:19, thou didst bow thy loins unto women. Basically, you lowered yourself by using your dick. You let him take the charge, and therefore you're going to be brought into captivity, because she can put a rope around your little thing and pull you around, and you're going to you want it to. And by thy body thou was brought into subjection, because you followed after your fleshly lust, which is, your little thing. You bowed down yourself, basically, right? And then your body was in subjection to that woman, because now they can control you. I'm not giving you, oh no, I'm gonna make her feel good so that I can love her again and touch her again. Nope, you can't touch me. What did I do? You start tripping. Right. So, going on.
Hello. They're charming, aren't they? Or if they're not, they jolly soon ought to be, because they're students at a London charm school.
They needed to train them in order for them to be so-called charming, because they wasn't. Beasts. By design, by nature.
And I think we really stopped.
This is then the top hoe. She's a little bit older, as you can see, and that's in the scriptures. It is here, which is, I think I just read it actually. The women that are of age, that they may teach the young women to be sober, to love their husband, to love their children. You need to teach them this. It's like they can't normally. I don't know. Not all of them, by the way. A small portion of them doesn't really need it like that. You add on to what they already have within them.
Trying to improve the pupils' appearance. I think as soon as we get them conscious that they're wrong in everything that they do, that is with their makeup and their hair, and as soon as we start getting them right, then I think
they was taught how to sit. It's crazy if you watch this video, but let me get a few scriptures here. So it says, the book of Sirach 7:19, forgo not a wise and good woman, for her grace is above gold. Sirach 7 and then 26, Ecclesiasticus, which is Sirach. Hast thou a wife after thy mind? Forsake her not, but give not thyself over to a light woman. Like a light-headed one. She's here, then she's there. I've seen a lot of cases where people come from another country and they come here and they start seeing guys that they might like. And on the vacation, she leaves him. It's crazy, man. They're not even from this country. They just come here and then they see a guy that they like, her type, her actual type. She never been outside of her country. The guy brought her over here. And she get fucked. Hey, that's horrible, man. I'm seeing, oh man, damn. but that's what you get when you got, you start spoiling her and get money and bringing her all over the place and stuff like that. That's not a good idea all the time, man. That's a light-headed woman. She's wanton. She's all over the place. Her heads get light when she sees something that she thinks she might like. Not just think. I mean, like, sexually. She thinks like, oh, this one might be good in bed. That's what I mean with the thinking. She knows what she wants. But anyway, Sirach 25:25. Give the woman no give the water no passage, because water if you allow water, see, the overview is not coming. If I turn it off, the thing that I put on, if I turn it off, it's gonna come. I don't want that. Not all the time. But this is what's going to happen. Water collects in a rock crack. What's gonna happen? It's gonna break it through. And oh yeah, this one also. What water does is this is what water does. It makes him smooth. Because water will destroy anything. These stones are actually, if you look at the stones, let me see here. They're rugged. Here, this one. Water doesn't go over them. It doesn't. So that, because you would see it. So therefore, it's kind of rugged. You can cut yourself. But this one, water goes over it. Boy, you're going to slip. It might not cut you, but you're going to slip if you walk over it. And some of them have moss on it too, which makes them also more slippery. Sometimes more slippery, but sometimes it actually has grip. But yeah, this one, the water doesn't go over it. It doesn't beat over it. It simply raises and then it goes down. It doesn't race over it. This one races over it. And here also you don't see it like it doesn't crash it it doesn't crash against it hard enough to make it smooth. It doesn't, or else you would have seen it. If the water goes over it violently all the time, then it will smoothen out, like this one. But this one is a little bit more rugged, but still you can see that the water went over it. Anyway, enough of that. Water breaks, so give the water no passage. You clean it up, fix up that hole, fix up that crack. You need to fix it up, or else it's just going to destroy it. Water does that. Even a drop, the whole time dropping, just a little bit of drop, boop, boop, boop. Before you know it, it will break, boy. Because that's what water does, right? Neither a wicked woman liberty to gad abroad. So don't give these women a chance to gad abroad. And what does gad abroad mean? Do I have it here too? I do have it here. Gad abroad. It means to visit or travel to a lot of different places. So gadding abroad, but it here. So you have here the word gad means troop. So what does it say? Don't give a woman the freedom to, travel around, that too, but travel around in large troops like a wolf pack. Because the more of them that there are in a group, the bolder they become, especially if they drink. That's what makes it even worse. Here, when they gad abroad, so it says here in the book of Sirach 42:12, behold not everybody's beauty, so don't stare at them, especially if she has a man. And sit not in the midst of women. This is a group of women, a gad, a troop of women. Don't sit in their midst. It's not a good idea. You're gonna learn bullshit, and you're gonna hear bullshit, and you're gonna start acting like bullshit. If you're around them all the time, it's not a good idea. Because they have more often they have bullshit conversations. Bullshit conversations. Enjoying yourself. Yeah, gad abroad. So basically, don't let them too free. Don't give them too much freedom, because they're gonna do things which will bring shame upon the family. And back in the days, a wholesome name was a very great thing. It's not that people didn't have other things, like you don't have much. No, it wasn't like that. It was more, hey, don't do that, man, because people wanted to live a more honorable life and have honorable names and stuff like that. Nowadays, people have the same type of mentality, but they say stuff like, you a nobody and I'm a somebody. because they believe themselves to be high, and once they have that status, they don't want negative publicity. They don't want bad things to be said about them, even though some of them are bad. A lot of them are bad. Still, they don't want you to say it because, you know, it's detrimental to them.
Charm begins to, develop.
What qualifications, Mrs. Estelle, does one need to teach other people to be charming?
She became a top but listen to her answer.
Well, infinite patience to start.
That's a great answer. Infinite patience. That's what you need to become an overseer of the rest of the women. It also goes into wisdom. She knows how to conduct herself because she's been trained, and therefore she trains others now.
And you wonder why.
And think about it. They were better off. I don't want them there. I want them to have this type of mindset that, fight against that. Good. Fight against it. Go ahead. She's a Jacob descendant. She gonna be in her right mind later. But I'm actually laughing at the Edomite nation. So that's the fun part.
Patience because the charm score, sir.
Oh, yes, I'm the envy of my...
I am the end. Well. This is one of the top women that was chosen to be a leader, I should say. And yeah, this BBC, of course.
Taken.
This is America, by the way. It's BBC did a documentary.
Her circle